It's good to be back at KAKTUS for a second year. And because we are right after lunch, I want to make a vote. So who thinks that our company is called Viber? Let's raise their hands. Okay. Don't be shy. Okay, so we have. And who is for Viber? Okay. So I think that both are correct. We actually really like the local approach to things as well. So Viber or Viber, we will talk for the same thing now. So actually I want to really use how the previous presentation ended of Stephanie, that actually where do people talk nowadays? Because there was this point in the presentation where, okay, so there is censorship in social networks nowadays. There is censorship in websites. There is censorship in a lot of the places where people get information and where people discuss and comment things. So where do they go to discuss the things that matter to them in a safe and very protected environment? So I think that you probably know the answer, and the answer is actually where we come in. So in the messaging space, the messengers have become, over the last just 5 years, the place where people communicate and where communicate more and more actively for more and more things, and more transactions of information, ideas, and inspiration comes in. And this is the reason why we have grown so fast in such a short time. And this is also the reason why we want to protect this, while at the same time give marketers more and more tools to get into these conversations without interfering. So if I would have to start with where we are right now and where we really focus, is that we really believe in the freedom and expressiveness of communication. So this is where Viber has always stand, and where we see ourselves as an alternative to many, many other channels which are protected, prosecuted, which are really being censored around the world. And we believe in getting people to call anywhere, so we started from this. We were the first mobile app that actually worked on mobile phones and actually provided free calls, but we have moved quite a lot from there. So we have added recently the opportunity to have on default end-to-end encryption, so actually whatever you share with whomever you share is protected fully, and nobody can access this information in the conversations. You probably know how the situation in the like in a lot of parts of the world stands, that there are a lot of authorities that want to suppress the conversations between their people and want to really have access to snoop on everything. And I can tell you that Viber is #1 service in a lot of places where there are dictatorships, there are really oppressive regimes, and this is because the users have gone to us because they feel protected, and we have been really a major driver around that. You probably heard about also things in neighboring countries recently. So the other thing which is very important is that we are also investing quite a lot into being expressive, into providing tools for the users to complement their communication, to complement these conversations in a very meaningful way and also very local way. This is the reason why we are here in Belgrade and why we also go to Budapest, to Podgorica, to Zagreb, to Sofia, to Athens. And because communication is personal, because you can't make one-size-fits-all functions. You can't make only stickers in English. You can't make functionalities which don't take into account how people in each and every region communicate. Actually, it's a funny thing, but when we look in our data, sometimes we find fun facts. For example, the users in Albania make 100 times more video calls per month than the average in Bulgaria or Serbia. And the interesting thing is that actually when we did some research, is that the literacy in there is a little bit is lower. So actually, people don't want to write. So what they do is they put on the video call and they start to explain things. So there are a lot of different such peculiarities when you go down. And we really try to go deeper and to provide the right solutions for each and every market when it comes to communication. And when it comes to markets, we are present and we have users, a lot of users, in more than 200 countries around the world, which are now counting to more than 800 million around the world. You probably have noticed that we have a lot of different functionalities, and this is just a glimpse of what happens in 60 seconds within Viber. So it's millions of notifications, messages, hundreds of thousands of calls or minutes spent in video calls, stickers that are being sent, text messages, and a lot of other things. So it's a massive flow of information going back and forth, really fueled by what our users care about. And this is really fueled by the need to have this space where they communicate. And you have probably also noticed that we are quite popular around here. In Central Eastern Europe, which is the region which we cover with my team, we have more than 33 million users. So this means that 3/4 of all the connected smartphones in these countries, which are around, have Viber installed on them. So this is very, very serious footprint, and this makes for a platform where you can really go to and get access to the highest number of smartphone users. Actually, in Serbia, we are the #1 mobile app that has the largest installed base in the country. That's in front of Facebook. If you are wondering if we count them, yes, in front of Facebook and the Messenger and all the rest. In the world, we are one of the top 10 mobile apps ever installed with the highest base. Oops. Okay. So when we talk about services and what's most popular on Viber, you probably guessed it, it's messaging. So we started as free calling app, but we are right now #1 in messaging, and in messaging is where we see the highest potential for the future. The reason is that okay, probably except in Albania, there we are still a little bit not sure how things will develop, but what we are really looking for and what we are seeing is that people are using the functionalities to send information in more and more ways and to really use all the things that we are doing. Actually, we even had a very touching story of an artist which was crippled by a disease, who actually used our opportunity to create with a finger small drawings on the screen of the phone. And actually, this artist even made an exhibition in Niš, I think, in Subotica. Yeah, in Subotica, a couple of months ago. So it was inspired by a small functionality within our app, which never was meant to build art, but actually it turned out to be something which had a lot of emotional impact. So if we look at the scale and we put all this information and all this activity into a month's time, only in our region, we are talking about more than 400 million stickers, more than 7 billion messages that are being exchanged. And when we go to Serbia and the size of the users that we have here, we have a reach which is quite incredible. So more than 3 million users, more than 80 million stickers which are being exchanged around between the users out there, and millions of calls and billions of messages actually. So this is enormous flow of information, which actually it means, in the end of the day, I actually managed to try to open an Excel and to put this amount of messages and all these metrics into time, because this is what matters nowadays. It's time spent in front of a certain medium, time spent in using certain app or certain channel. This is what matters when it comes to advertising and to choosing where you want to communicate your messages. But the problem that I faced was that if I take the example of 1.6 billion messages, I said, okay, so how much does it take to write a message on Viber? And I said, okay, so it might be 5 seconds, but it might be 5 minutes. So probably some of you have also had such situations like me, that they have been in front of the screen and they have spent actually 5 minutes there, like writing this message where they are not sure what to do. So even when I put it into 5 seconds, which is probably understatement, we are talking about millions of hours which are spent in front of the screen with the not so cool purple nowadays. But yeah, that's my personal opinion. So this is actually true more than ever for the people which are from the youngest age groups. So if we say that their parents or grandparents, who also, by the way, have Viber nowadays, are spending still a lot of their time listening to the radio, watching TV, I would say that these guys usually have almost all of their time in front of their computer, like a little bit of it, and then all of it into their smartphones. And what you'll see usually on their smartphone screen, it would be an app for video, Viber, Facebook, and something else, which is like a long tail. So when you go after them, you don't have a lot of choices. And this is where we come as a platform. So having a monopoly, having just one platform with increasing costs, with decreasing reach, is something that we hear more and more. And this is the reason why we started experimenting with different advertising formats over the last couple of years, while keeping in mind the fact that these guys wouldn't like to have to be interrupted while writing this specific message where they have thought about it for such a long time and where they want to concentrate, by suddenly having a banner which appears and says like, buy this or buy that. Because this kind of generation actually don't see even the banners. Like they don't even really appreciate them, because it's something that is going there, which is in front of their eyes, but like they say, okay, so I think that their brains have already created ad blockers, which is in front of their eyes like a filter. So what we have done, and like this probably won't surprise you given the fact of numbers and the fact that you use Viber and probably have used stickers, is that we have been investing, and actually I'll show several new functionalities which we haven't shown anywhere on a forum, which are coming in. Quite a lot of efforts and research, and we have done a lot of evaluating about how actually stickers work. So we have even analyzed what happens when somebody receives quite a lot of stickers from brands, from his friends. And actually it turns out that a person, we even found a bracket of people that received sponsored stickers in one of the countries in the region by 10 brands over a 3-month period. So this was a pure advertising, not by their choice. Somebody else sent them to them. And what happened is that actually we saw that these guys don't have a lower activity, but actually rather they start to use stickers, they start to send some of them, of course depends on their friends, how they have approached them, but to some of these stickers that they have received along, and they have passed this medium along. And they are actually even more engaged to the medium, and this is the reason why we have invested also on strategic partnership with Exit or the city and with other partners. And we have done quite a fair share of branded content around our platform. So you can see here Nestle, the Nestles of the world, the Procter & Gamble's, the Coca-Cola, and KFC, and quite a lot of other guys from different continents. And In the end of the day, the reason for that is that it's not intrusive. It complements the communication. It's just 2 clicks. It stays forever on the device even after the campaign is over. So actually, I really plan to use the Christmas stickers that I used last year when the time comes next month. So actually, these are even such kind of tools which have a much longer life, which can be even prolonged with additional campaigns or by different occasions. And the data that we have seen is that a person who downloads a sticker pack actually sends it to 23 of their friends. And apart from the fact that it's not really an interruption, because when you get such a tool, first of all, you download it because you see, okay, that might be useful, that this kind of funny pictures with catchphrases or interesting graphics are actually relevant for my way of life, or I have somebody that I might send it to. And what happens is that they are sent on average more than 20 times, and they are sent on a time, place, or person that is actually deemed very suitable for this kind of message by the friends, by the people. So actually, the targeting, because we very often hear such kind of questions. How do you target people with the stickers? Okay, so the first way for the very small number of core audience which starts this avalanche effect, actually they can be targeted in many ways, and we also provide quite a lot of opportunities for that. But after that, actually the users are targeting that, and they are targeting their friends, their families, their closest ones, really in a moments when it makes sense to talk about chill out with a Nescafe Frappé, or it makes sense to talk about Happy Christmas with the bears, or it makes sense to say I'm hungry and to send something which is with ham and with pleskavica, for example. So again, like of course, the design and everything can be very wildly diverse. And we have seen that there are already designers that have approached us and that are doing quite a lot of projects for stickers. We even have like our first person who is a full-time freelancer that is doing for all his time now in Bulgaria sticker projects. So like we have the first job, like we told him like you should not be nowadays only freelance designer, but you can be the first person on LinkedIn who says Viber sticker designer, full stop. So he's contemplating about that, but we are getting there. So we have quite a lot of pool of talent that is going on. When it comes to case studies, there are numerous. Probably you have been exposed to some of them around here. I'll start with a global one. So this was a case study which we did in Russia with Old Spice, which was went very viral for just 3 months. It reached more than 1 million followers for their channel, and actually the downloads were around 1.5 million. The number of stickers that were sent were many times more. And it was around a very cool art. I don't know if you can understand some of the Russian words, but there are a lot of catchphrases in the guy's jargon and a lot of visuals and messages that are really catching for this target group. Then we have something that we are very proud of, which was super successful global project that started from Serbia with one of the very remarkable companies and movements that have sprang from the country exit. So we started our partnership 1 year ago, and we are now celebrating 1 million followers of their public chat. And this is given the fact that their Facebook page, which has been developed for many more years, is several times smaller. And this is exit. When we are talking about fans, they have fans. So they don't have problem with fans, and at the same time, they have many less fans than followers on Viber. So the numbers are I think that speak for themselves. And this is actually the visual that they created. And they will also soon throw a very nice party. I have heard that they know how to throw parties, so we look forward about this 1 million that we have achieved. Something very different, an organization that like really have supported us, that have embraced quite a lot, that we see is changing quite a lot, but you wouldn't necessarily link to very like a super progressive and innovative tech-savvy tradition, which has, however, evolved quite a lot. We are very, very impressed by what the city has done, how it has evolved through these channels, and now they are actually having 2 channels for Go Belgrade, for tourism, which is targeted at visitors to Belgrade, and for the local channel, which have reached together also more than 1 million followers. And this is, again, by far their biggest channel that they have for communication with their audiences. And again, it's something where they can reach out to people outside of the country or youngsters within the community that they had not been able to do that with their traditional tools that they have had. When it comes to the new things that we have on offer and which we are opening now to brands and to partners outside and which have not been implemented even in the projects that I mentioned, I would start, of course, with the animated sticker packs. So, of course, animation and creates infinite number of additional opportunities to expand, to make really these pictures and messages even more viral, even funnier, even more engaging. So animation is also something that we are ready to do. It's much harder to do it than a regular pack, but we have found ways to expand it. The reason for that, you might say, well, animation is something which is just moving objects, but what is the power of Viber is that we work on tens of thousands of different device models. Some of these device models literally look like small soaps. So in order to make stickers work and to move and to be as fluid as possible on all of these devices actually takes quite a lot of effort. So we are using very, very specific, very efficient technologies to do that. And now they are actually available for all partners that want to use it. The other thing that we are releasing as a product for the holiday season is, and this is something that we haven't shown anywhere or announced on an event, is actually video ads. So now we are giving opportunity to link the stickers and download the stickers to actually watching a video ad. So if you don't want to create your own public chat, but you want a different exposure, you have very nice visual assets and videos, you are able now to show them and to connect them to the sticker pack, and you'll get, if you have 500,000 downloads, unique, so we are talking about unique downloads and unique viewers, you'll have 500,000 unique viewers. And we are talking about a very, very short period of time. For example, the city stickers were released a month and a half ago. The other thing which is coming, because I mentioned public chats, is our social platform. So it's expanding in a lot of functionalities in the coming months. One of the things that we are right now testing in several countries around the world is actually our feed. So the public chats already have quite a lot of content. They have the biggest publishers and the biggest communities in the country, which already have public chats in Serbia. And now all this content will be able to be viewed in a feed. You'll say, okay, so it's not very innovative. Yeah, I know, but the devil is in the details. So it will be very visual. It will get information that will be only high quality. So the personal space is personal space, but when you seek for news, for entertainment, actually you have a separate flow where you get this kind of cool and high quality posts. And the other big difference, which is important, is that it will be very open. So you'll be able to post links, you'll be able to get content which leads to other pages, to captivation portals, to e-shops, and to different other exit points. So you'll get actually meaningful traffic, not only brand exposure or visual appearance there. The other thing, which is actually, I have put it here because it's as some kind of lifting the curtain for the next big step that we are planning quite soon for Viber, and that it was a shame that the timing of the event was not 3 weeks later when we could have raised all the curtain, the whole curtain, is a notification service. So imagine that you will be able, and this is something that we did with Exit in this example, and we tested it in the summer, but imagine that you will be able to send personalized messages to all the followers in your public chat. Imagine that you will be able to do surveys and to create profiling with the things that the customers tell you about themselves, and that based on this profiling and this information, you'll be able to segment them in different target groups and then create automatic conversations which lead to different kinds of recommendations, useful content for your customers and fans that after that inspire action. And that after these conversations, they will be able to understand where to get your product, when and from whom, and where they can ask questions that get into your CRM system or get into your call center to really take them to the last mile of closing the sales deal. In November, coming to theaters near you. Thank you very much.